And good evening and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner. My name is Ralph Williams. Those of you who are new to the show, I welcome you aboard here tonight. We're on our 4 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. I'm live tonight from Youngstown, Ohio, and those of you who have followed my show last night and all last week and follow my social media posts, my nephew Sean Negley is in a hospital down here in Youngstown, Ohio. He is in stable condition here in Youngstown, Ohio. And that's why I'm here broadcasting from Youngstown, Ohio. Also, don't forget about tomorrow night, 7:30. So it'll be Talking Wrestling. I'll be solo. Smokin Jim Frazier. Also, please say some prayers for him tonight. He's in the hospital with something health-wise. Nothing has been released from him about what he's in the hospital for, but he is in the hospital. So please pray for him. He will not be available tonight here on Sports Corner. So you have me, but guess what? I'm not lonely, because guess who's coming up here right now? My guest tonight is Avi Greenwald. And Avi, thank you for being on the show. We were supposed to have you on last week, but I canceled all my shows because of my nephew being in a hospital, so I decided this week to do them live here in Youngstown, Ohio. How are you, Avi? How's everything going?
I'm good. Appreciate having me back. Sorry for all the circumstances that are going on, but I hope all goes well. But I'm always happy to be here when you need me.
Thank you, Avi. I appreciate that. Avi, tell the audience here tonight what your thoughts are. What do you think the direction of all the teams down there in Florida are going in the draft? First, we're going to start with Miami. And today, they released quarterback Byron Jones. What's releasing Byron Jones have anything to do with their defense? Are you there, Avi? Hello, Avi? Seems where he's having technical issues again. Are you there, Avi? Seems he's frozen up here. Oh, we lost Avi again. No, we'll get him back up. All right. In the meantime, though, we're going to talk some sports here tonight. I want to talk about the Steelers right now. And the Steelers, there's some predictions out there that there are some stuff that they could be possibly picking. All right. But I'm not going to say exactly what I think right now, because we're getting close to the draft. Draft's at the end of April. And I'm going to have a special draft show coming up next month right here. And it's going to be the Tuesday before the draft. I have a big panel full of people coming on, and we're going to have a wonderful draft show. That's all coming up on here on Sports Corner next month. Don't forget to tune in for that. Later on at 9 o'clock, we're going to have Jerry DePaola come on from the Trib Live. He's going to talk about Pitt Athletics, Pitt men's basketball. Where do they go from here? Are they going to make the tournament? What do they need to do in the ACC tournament? Also, Jeff Capel was announced as Coach of the Year yesterday for the ACC. And also, we're going to talk about the firing of women's basketball coach Lance White, who didn't work out here in his 5-year tenure. Okay, the Steelers are looking at some releasing March 15th William Jackson III. Now, you know, William Jackson came to us injured to begin with. What happened was we gave up a 5th-round pick, which I think is kind of silly. You know, we don't need to waste draft picks. 5th-round picks usually become a pretty good thing for the Steelers, okay? And they gave away this 5th-round pick to Washington to bring in William Jackson III. He had a bad back last year. He didn't play, okay, at all. And I don't blame the Steelers for getting rid of him, because they signed him to a contract, and they're freeing up some more money in the cap to go sign some free agents, okay? So that's what's going on with the Steelers with that. Omar Khan and the gang, they're in Indianapolis at the scouting combine. You know, I have a question for you tonight, and I want you to give me your opinion, those of you who are watching tonight, on the comment section. Do you think the Steelers should re-sign Bud Dupree? Now, I know this sounds far-fetched because he was already here. he stunk most of the time. He had one good year, and that was the year he was getting ready for a contract. He got this big contract from Tennessee, laid an egg. He was hurt again. All right. Bud Dupree, Mr. Injury. Okay. If healthy, and if the Steelers can get him on a cheap, do you think the Steelers would sign Bud Dupree? And would you be in favor of them signing Bud Dupree? Or do you think it's just another waste of money on a bum who doesn't really, play well anyway, or, hasn't played well? He didn't do well in Tennessee. And then when he was here, he didn't play very well until the last year of his contract, in which he, like I said before, it was the last year of his contract. He was looking for a contract. So that's one of the reasons why he basically was doing what he was doing. So hang on a minute here. I'm waiting to hear from Avi. Okay, he's going to try to reboot it again, and we'll get Avi back up here. Anyway, let's get back to the Steelers here. And also, I have a question for you. I'm going to put you in the chair right now of the general manager. Who would you pick if you're the Steelers right now? And if it's me, I'll tell you who I think they should pick. They should pick this kid from Wisconsin. Or no, not from Wisconsin. I'm sorry, he's from Iowa. All right, and so they need to pick him. He's a mean Jack Campbell. He's a mean linebacker, and the Steelers need to get back. And I said this before, into the mean defense. They need to quit stopping signing these bums and signing guys that are going to get hurt all the time, drafting people that just forget about it, okay? All right? So the Steelers have a lot of questions going into the draft. What do you do with Miles Jack? Do you re-sign him? What do you do with some of these players? Do you let him go and then bring somebody else in? Joe Schobert, they brought him in. He didn't do nothing. Miles Jack. It seems like every time we bring in some kind of an inside linebacker, it seems like he stinks, okay? So should the Steelers just say, forget about it, go into the draft, get a really good inside linebacker, and start developing him and bring him in here, okay? And the Steelers fired Jerry Osafsky, all right? So where do the Steelers go from here at linebacker, okay? They have, Robert Spillane, and, they have Mark Robinson. They have a few guys. Mark Robinson, which I couldn't figure out, did really, really good in the preseason. And then all of a sudden, he didn't play at all in the regular season until the end. So I think that Jack Campbell from Iowa is a very good – if they were to pick him in the first round, that's great. And then in the second round, I think they should pick Cody Mauch out of Montana. Let me tell you why. Have you seen this kid? I saw him in the Senior Bowl. He looks like Jack Lambert. He has no teeth and long hair, and he's mean. He's nasty. See, the Steelers, again, they need to get back to the mean and nasty Steelers, not the Steelers where, we miss tackles or we just tackled a guy. Let's start getting mean and nasty again, okay? And I think Cody Mauch would be a great pick. He's an offensive lineman. He's big, he's strong, and he's mean and nasty. He's like another Kemoyatu, okay? Only difference is he knows how to control himself when he needs to. All right, Kemoyatu, he didn't know how to control himself, got out of control, and continued to have all kinds of penalties and whatnot. And Mike Tomlin just said, you got to go. I mean, that's as simple as that. So, but anyway, I think the Steelers need to go with those two picks. Or Kalijah Cansey from Pitt. Sounds strange, but Kalijah Cansey is having a really good combine. And USA Today has put out a list of who's doing well and who stinks right now at the combine. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the winners. Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. Rumor has it he's going to Tampa. We're going to see what Tampa decides to do if he makes it to Tampa. Okay, Tampa might trade up to get him. They need a quarterback. Tom Brady, is gone. They have Kyle Trask there. There's no veterans out there as of right now. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There is. Marcus Mariota. He was cut by Atlanta. If I'm the Tampa Bay Bucks, I'd bring him in as a safeguard, all right, and have him come in and be the safeguard. Start Kyle Trask and see what you can do with that. All right, I think we have Avi back up again. Let's get him up, and let's see what happens here. All right.
Sorry about that, technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's okay, Avi. Thank you for coming back up, and I appreciate that. All right, we were talking about Miami here. They have a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. What do you think Miami's looking to do in the draft right now, Avi?
Well, besides the obvious, I think the Dolphins obviously are going to be needing to replace old veteran Byron Jones, cornerback, who the Dolphins plan to be releasing here, I believe, in a couple days. So the Dolphins definitely need to address the cornerback spot, I believe. The secondary obviously could use a little bit of depth as well. We don't have many picks in this draft, so they're going to have to use them extremely wisely. I do believe the Dolphins should be eyeing some kind of running back. They have a really big, deep running back class with a lot of options. I think the Dolphins should try to utilize some kind of running back that they can have on the team going forward, because it looks like we might be attaining the same team from last year, the same running backs. We'll see if we can get both of them back. Wilson Jr. and in Mostert. But I do not know going forward after one more season if they will still be there. So I think the best bet would be to address the running back position.
Okay. As far as Miami goes, I just was talking about Tampa Bay here. They're looking at this Anthony Richardson from Florida. They want this Florida connection here. Marcus Mariota was just released by Atlanta. Do you think that the Bucs should go for Marcus Mariota as a safeguard? And if they don't get this quarterback and they decide to stick with Trask, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, me personally, I think the Bucs might actually be more successful going after, say, like a Baker Mayfield or something like that right now.
Right.
I do think Kyle Trask is a good option, but I think they need to maybe consider putting somebody like a Baker Mayfield who has had a little bit of experience. And if you put him on the right team with the right talent, I think Baker Mayfield can be successful. I do think that the Buccaneers maybe should address it in the draft, but I do not know if it should be an early pick. I think that they should address it maybe in free agency this year.
Okay. What about coaching? Offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich was let go. He's still sitting out there, I believe. Do you think he'll ever get a job, or do you think he'll just be sitting out there? What do you think?
I would think he might get another job down the road. I would say he might not be getting a job right away. People might just want to see what happens first. He had quite a time in Tampa Bay, up and down. I do believe that he'll probably end up with a job somewhere down the road. I just don't know right away. I don't think right away, but we'll see. No telling.
Yeah, there's some rumors that he has some ties with. Well, of course, he played as a backup quarterback here with the Steelers. Rumor has it he may be coming in to clean toilets. No, I'm just kidding. He might be coming in to be an offensive consultant or something to that effect, like some other guys. What do you think, Todd? Do you think Todd Bowles is on eggshells this year? If he doesn't do well, do you think they're going to fire him? Or
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think Todd Bowles is definitely on the hot seat this year. He needs to prove himself. They put him in a position because they thought that he could handle it. Last year was not the season that everybody expected or quite hoped for. So I do believe 100% Todd Bowles needs to be successful this season. So they need to get the right pieces to give him something successful to play with. If not, his job definitely, I believe, will be on the line.
What about what do you think they're going to do on the defense? Do you think they're going to make any changes, tweak it a little bit, or what do you think?
I definitely think they need to be addressing the secondary again as well. The safeties, they definitely need some safety help. Antoine Winfield Jr. and Nolan Turner are the only safeties currently under contract. Mike Edwards, right, Logan Ryan, and Keanu Neal are going to be unrestricted free agents, so they will be losing them this season. I do believe that they're really going to be needing a safety in the draft.
Okay, let's talk about Jacksonville for a minute here. I actually predicted this, and I called this. I said Doug Peterson was going to turn Jacksonville around, and he did. And he did a really good job this year of doing so. What do you think Jacksonville needs to do in the draft?
Well, I honestly, the Jaguars, you would think that they need to obviously beef up their offensive line. But you know what? Going towards the end of the season, the Jaguars were a top 10 offense. So you know what? I think the best thing right now, early in the rounds in the draft, I think the Jaguars also need to address their secondary. They do need to get some good cornerback to help beef up that defense. The defensive line, also the interior defensive line could use some help. They got that rookie last year that really had a good season. And I think the Jaguars going forward, I really think that if they make the right picks, they can be right back in top of things. They really shocked the world last year with their play at the end of the season.
What's your thoughts on the New York Giants today signing Daniel Jones to a $104 million contract? And, every time this kind of thing happens, Avi, and it always seems to happen to guys, they give them money, they have one good season, and then all of a sudden they throw big money. And Geno Smith got the same thing. Now it's going to be a ripple effect, and now it's going to affect the whole league. Now everybody's going to want to pay bums or guys that just only played for 1 year all this big money. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll tell you what. When you get a quarterback and you have some kind of success with them, you've got to show them that you stand behind them, right? You've got to have their back. Obviously, it's a tough thing to find in this league as a quarterback. So once you think you might have one, you got to give them the money. You got to keep them. But the big money, the big years after one successful season always troubles me.
Yeah.
Because you never really know, especially this is the NFL. There's been so many players that have just displayed a success in one season, and you got to remember this is the NFL. The defenses are going to figure it out. And if you don't separate yourself from the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, you're just going to be another mediocre quarterback, and sometimes the money isn't deserving. Over a list of hundreds of quarterbacks that have been given the money, and as soon as the money came rolling in, where were they to be found? So it's like a catch-22. You got to get your quarterback right, but there's no guarantee in this league unless you're a Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And something, Avi, I learned this from Clint Eastwood. He said in the movie The Rookie to Tom Skerritt, if you want a guarantee, buy a toaster.
There you go. Man.
What else did they say? The only two guarantees in this world now are death and taxes too. That's another story. But But anyway, yeah, you hit it on the jackpot with quarterbacks, and now Saquon Barkley as well just got some money today, and some franchise tags were put on, like Lamar Jackson. Where do you think Lamar Jackson may go if the Ravens decide to trade him?
It's a tough call. To be honest, my thing with Lamar Jackson has always been that the Baltimore Ravens have built that team to molded his style of play. That is a complete running football team. They have just beefed up their defense. They're literally trying to build their team around the style of Lamar Jackson. So I think if they're smart, if Lamar's smart, he can get the most money in Baltimore. I think the best place, I think Baltimore wants him more than anybody because they know that they have built that team to support Lamar Jackson's style of play. So if I would think where would he go, it would have to probably be to a team that maybe similarly matches the type of offense that the Baltimore Ravens run. Right now, I don't know. There's teams out there that need that type of offense or that type of a player or a quarterback in general. But I do not see a team that fits the way that Baltimore fits for Lamar Jackson right now. I can't give you an honest answer of where I think he might go because I think that his best bet is to stay in Baltimore. And I think if Baltimore really wants to continue doing what they're doing with him, they're going to have to give him the money that he asks for.
What do you think Washington's going to do, the Commanders, with Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator now? Do you think he's there because Ron Rivera, I'm told, is walking on eggshells this year? He has to do something or he's going to possibly get fired. Andy Reid made a statement today saying that Bieniemy made the right choice so he could become a head coach. What do you think?
I'm behind that 100%. I do believe that Eric Bieniemy is probably there to light a fire under Ron Rivera's butt. Now, I believe that if Ron Rivera does not do what he needs to be doing, he could possibly be let go before the end of the season, and Eric Bieniemy could slide right in there, and it might have just been a setup just like that.
Yeah,
Eric Bieniemy could be put into position. I think he made the right decision for sure. They got a lot of things going. Ron Rivera is definitely on the hot seat, and they're going to need something.
Yeah, they have a new ownership group that's going to be coming in. Daniel Snyder has to bow out. And then they have a quarterback situation. They cut Carson Wentz. He doesn't know what his career is going to be yet. Where do you think they go? Do you think they go in the draft at quarterback, or do you think they just say, forget it, we'll just see what free agents out there, hold us over till we can get somebody?
I think the Redskins probably address it in the draft. I think that's the best way to go for them right now. They've got a lot of young talent on the offensive side of the ball right now that you can maybe go for a quarterback in the draft and maybe be forced to start him because you actually have pieces on that offense that could help him along the way as he's growing to get better. I do believe that the Redskins probably should go that route, and I think that's the best route for them to take.
Okay, let me give you this. Miami in the AFC. What do you think? What do you think their division looks like, and do you think they have a chance of getting into the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. Me personally, if the Buffalo Bills do not address their offensive line next year, and they seem to struggle, which I think they were doing a lot of last year, towards the end of the season, you started to see that the Buffalo Bills maybe weren't as strong as everybody had thought, and you can actually get to Josh Allen and you can make them make mistakes. You know what? I think the Jets are going to be a big dark horse right now. Depends on what they're going to do at quarterback. I do believe once their rookie running back comes back, that guy was on pace to be rookie running back of the year, if not the MVP. The guy was just running a bat out of hell until he got hurt. So I think their offense is ready to go. Obviously, their defense got some real good young rookies on that team. So if they can get I'm hearing Aaron Rodgers rumors possibly going to the Jets. So if that happens, I hate to say it, but the Jets could be a serious dark horse. But I still believe in my heart that the Dolphins, if they can keep Tua on the field, they can continue to be successful. Now, I'm also hearing a lot of rumors that Jalen Ramsey could end up becoming a Miami Dolphin. I'm hearing all types of rumors out there. They could maybe give up like a third, a sixth, and a fourth or something like that. I'm hearing for Jalen Ramsey, and that could booster up their defense as well. So, number one thing with the Dolphins, Tua's got to stay healthy. Let's see if he can continue to stay on the field. I believe he can lead the Dolphins maybe further than they did last year. Absolutely. So, and it's all up to the Patriots and Mac Jones. Let's see if he can get it done. Mac Jones has got to get it done for New England. If he can't, their defense is good, but without an offense in that division, it's going to hurt. It's going to. Well,
he actually has an offensive coordinator now. Bill O'Brien's back, so that should help Mac Jones. I mean, Bill O'Brien is and has been a good coordinator. He was a horrible head coach and general manager with the Texans. He did a good job at Penn State when Penn State was, under suspension for the Jerry Sandusky thing. Yeah. I think that New England's offense is going to be way better this year
for sure
because of Bill O'Brien.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you 100%. You know what? I have faith in Mac Jones. We've seen glimpses of greatness from him. I would maybe say not greatness, but we've seen some glimmers of hope coming from the Mac Jones play. So, there's a lot of question marks, especially, I've been hearing rumors about Trey Lance. Is he the guy to stay in San Francisco? Is he going to, people wonder, does he fit their mold? His problem is accuracy right now. And the 49ers just need somebody to get the ball to the receivers. They don't need the superstar at the quarterback position right now. So they need to get somebody that's accurate enough to get to the receivers. So the question is, will Trey Lance be the quarterback going forward? Because obviously the rookie seventh rounder from last year, what was his name?
Oh gosh, off the top of my head right now, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
He had a torn ACL. He won't be back until mid-season, if that later. So they're going to have to decide. Trey Lance is their guy this year, or they're going to have to maybe go a different route. We'll see.
Where do you think Garoppolo goes, just as we're here on the 49ers?
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Tampa Bay, honestly. I've been hearing a lot. I think he would fit the mold there. Tampa Bay's in the type of position where if they can find the right quarterback, they can be right back into the mix of things. You know, their big problem obviously was in the interior offensive line. If they can address that, they can be right back in the mix of things. I was actually joking around saying, why don't they bring back Jameis Winston? Let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, because Derek Carr just signed with the Saints. Paul says here, where we just had that discussion. Where does Jimmy G go for this year? And you had said Tampa. The Jets need a quarterback. That he could go there. There's been a lot of talk of where he could go. He could go just about anywhere. Paul, thanks for your comment and always watching as well. One other thing I wanted to ask you before we go here, Avi, because I have another guest coming on 9:00. Where do you think Tampa's going to go? Where do you think their division looks like?
Well, I think it's wide open. You got Carolina, Falcons, Tampa Bay, and the Saints, right? Right now, I think the best quarterback belongs to the Saints and Derek Carr, but we've yet to see what he can do with that team. We'll see.
Well, let's see what Dennis Allen can do as a coach. He was a horrible coach when he was with the Raiders. And I told everybody when he took over at the Saints, he was going to be awful. Nobody believed me. Oh, it's second time around. Maybe he'll do better. Well, he didn't do anything this year. But now he has a quarterback. So there's no excuse for this. He should be able to do something with Derek Carr. But, it's more than just that. I mean, you can either bake a cake or you can't. And, some guys are just coordinators. Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator, horrible head coach.
I think the NFC South has the potential to maybe be the worst division in football next season. If we had to really be honest, I think that might be the division next year that sends somebody else with the losing record. I could easily see that happening again, just like last year. We'll see.
I think Carolina's going to be better, Avi, with new coach Frank Reich. Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
also you have I don't know about Atlanta. I mean, Arthur Smith,
they're struggling.
His third season. I mean,
Yeah, Atlanta's going to be struggling a lot. I think so. They got some good pieces, but they don't know what to do with them yet.
Yeah, there's another one. A great offensive coordinator in Tennessee and a horrible head coach right now. I mean, he's just not doing it. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are like that. So, all right, Avi, thanks for being on the program. I appreciate. Oh, one more thing, Jacksonville. What do you think Jacksonville in the division? What do you think they're going to do?
Oh, I think Jacksonville can walk away with it, especially with the emergence now of Calvin Ridley being reinstated. I think Calvin Ridley's going to make a huge difference on that offense. They just franchise tagged Evan Ingram because they already knew that they had to get that one done. The chemistry was already there. So I think the Jaguars absolutely are going to walk away and probably should win that division easily this year.
Well, that's good. Okay, great. Yeah. Thanks for your knowledge, Avi. I appreciate you being on the program as always. And I'm glad we got through your technical stuff so we could talk to you tonight. And everything else.
Ralph. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. Take it easy.
Coming up next is Jerry DePaola from the Trib Live. He's going to be here to talk about Pitt athletics. In case you're not aware, Pitt men's basketball, they're getting ready to go into their tournament for the ACC tournament. And then on top of that, you have talks to them the ACC tournament going to the – oh, wow. All right. Well, hold on a second here. All right. I just sent it to Jerry. Now, Jerry's having trouble with the link, so let me get that to him, and we'll pause the show for a couple seconds here. I don't know what's going on. I've been sending these links out today, and people either aren't getting them or we're having a problem. It's all about technology, everybody. You know how that goes. Technology, falls apart or it doesn't do what it needs to do, and here we are. So, I mean, and we're in that kind of situation, with technology. So as soon as I get this screen up here, I can send Jerry his email. So there we are. All right, let's see if we can get Jerry on here. All right. Let's see what we can do. There we go. All right. Okay. And boom. we're getting it to Jerry here. I'm waiting to see what's going on. Okay, Jerry, it looks like he got his invite. So let's see what happens here, and we'll go from there. Sorry about the interruption, folks, but we had to get that out there. Okay, we're going to go back to the USA Today predictions for the Combine, and so far they've said that there are good and they're bad in the Combine. Now, first, they're good. The winners are Anthony Richards, quarterback for Florida, Nolan Smith, edge rusher for Georgia, which I think the Steelers are probably going to have to look at. So let's take a look at this Adamotive Adedawowie, edge rusher for Northwestern. So he was number 3. Number 4, Jackson Smith in the Jiba, wide receiver, Ohio State. Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon. Deontay Banks, cornerback, Maryland. I see the Steelers looking at one of these two guys. Christian Gonzalez is on my list. I see the Steelers looking at him either in some kind of round because we do need a shutdown corner. We do need some help at the corner position because we're not sure yet what we're going to do with Cam Sutton. So we need to do something there. Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia. Zach Kuntz. I like this Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion. You know why? 6'7", 250. What a guy. This guy here, he has overall athleticism, which is great. But the question at tight end with the Steelers this year is injuries. Gentry's has some kind of injury, I think. And, Firemuth, is he going to be available? Is he going to be, workable this year? If I'm the Steelers, I might try to look at a tight end somewhere in the late rounds. And I know we have Hayward, but still, we need somebody that's going to be reliable, durable, somebody that's going to be able to play and not be hurt all the time, as well. Byron Young, edge rusher, Tennessee. I hear the Steelers have been talking to him. Jack Campbell, linebacker, Iowa. He's on my list. Kalijah Cairns, he's on my list. DJ Turner, the second cornerback, Michigan. Chase Brown, running back, Illinois. But here are the losers here, and here's one of them that really kind of surprises me a little bit with being a loser here is Jordan Addison from USC, former Pitt wide receiver. And, so he's the loser in this thing here. Why, I don't know, but he is. We're going to find out what's going on with this. And hang on a second. I'm going to let Jerry know. Okay. So anyway, Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC. We all know him. He played for Pitt. Kenny Pickett's been rallying for him. I think we could get Jordan Addison in the second or third round, perhaps. I don't see him. I don't know. I just don't see him going in the first round. I really don't. And if he does, I'll be really surprised. I mean, he had a good season with USC, had great times at Pitt, but right now he's not doing real good at the Combine. And I don't, what that means in these cases, I don't know. I'm not a scout. Smokin Jim Frazier is, but he's not here to answer that tonight. Maybe he'll comment from the hospital. So we'll see what the story is with Jordan Addison. Andre Carter II, edge rusher from Army. This guy here, he was told he was very talented, but he's not doing real good here at the Combine. Clark Phillips III, cornerback, Utah. Keyshawn Boda, wide receiver, LSU. Mike Morris, edge rusher, Michigan. These are the guys that are not doing well. All right. And USA Today came out with this list today. So I just wanted to let you know how that is going also. And I'm going to try to get Ray Fittipaldi on here again. We're going to talk later on this month. I have a draft show coming up, as I mentioned earlier, and we're going to talk more about what the Steelers are going to do in the draft. Okay, let's get into some other things here while we wait for Jerry. So AT&T Sportsnet is reported, and I couldn't report this last week because I wasn't, I had to cancel all my shows because of my nephew being in a hospital here in Youngstown, Ohio, which is where we're broadcasting live tonight on our 4 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Don't forget Saturday nights at 5 p.m., Sports Corner TV edition on Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable. I got a bunch of comments and prayers and emails, and I want to thank everybody for that. I had to cancel the live call-in show on PCTV this last Thursday, because of my nephew. So that show has been rescheduled for March 23rd, 6 p.m. live call-in show. We have a new call-in phone number, which I will introduce to you that night of the show, because we had to get rid of our old number down at PCTV. So there's a new live call-in number, which I will tell you. Tune in, and I'll tell you with the new live call-in number. So anyway, that's what's going on with Sports Corner, and I'll give you the rest of the announcements at the end of the show. All right, breaking news: AT&T Sportsnet has decided they're no longer going to broadcast locally here. So where does that go for the Pirates and the Penguins? Okay, they need a local network for everyone to watch the games. Okay, and it's bad enough the Pirates stink, and then people watch them on TV. I mean, I watch them on TV. I don't go to games because I don't like Bob Nutting. I've already told many people that story, that I don't like Bob Nutting. And yeah, hang on a second here. Anyway, Bob Nutting, and I won't go to a game because unless someone else is paying for it. I refuse to pay for a ticket because I don't like what Bob Nutting's done with the Pirates. So, but that's the story there. But anyway, I have this, this thing about AT&T Sportsnet not broadcasting here. Where does that go? The Penguins don't have a live broadcast network either. So somebody needs to step up. And the question is, who's going to step up? Is it going to be Channel 2, KDKA? Is it going to be the CW? Is it going to be 22 The Point? Who's going to step up and produce these games? Okay. Here's Paul. He says the easy way is to lift the blackouts on MLTV. Yeah, there you go. MLTV said they will step up and put out a local broadcast as well. So, all right, we're going to make one more attempt here to try to get Jerry DePaola on the show here. I don't know what's going on. I've tried to send it to his email, at least the email that he's given me here, and it's not working, and I don't know why, but we're going to find out. So we're going to try one more time to send him an invite so he can get on the show and talk about Pitt athletics. Pitt's Jeff Capel, ACC Coach of the Year, Pitt men's basketball coach. Pitt has actually done well in the ACC this year. They blew 2 games this year that they probably shouldn't have lost. They lost to Miami, and then there was a few other games that they probably should have won and needed to win in order to actually win the ACC, and they just didn't do it. So I mean, it's a bad situation, and I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I know Pitt has. It's great that they're having a great season, but you know what? It's another thing of Pitt athletics where unfinished business. They just didn't finish it up. They didn't get it done, and so they need to, for unfinished business purposes, they need to take care of that, and that's exactly what I believe they can do. And I got to give Jeff Cable credit. I wanted to run him out of town. I really did. I really wanted to run him out of town. And it turns out that, he has put together a great team. And, so Paul says Pitt is apparently on the bubble and needs to at least win the ACC. Well, if they win the tournament, Paul, I think they're going to go to the to the NCAA tournament. If they don't win the ACC tournament or they bow out in one game, I don't know if they'll even make the ACC or the NCAA tournament. Even though they won 20 games, they might end up in the NIT because there's a lot of teams that have won 20 games. Even Duquesne has won 20 games. So what I'm saying is if Pitt's going to do this in basketball, they really need to take care of this. And that's something that we're going to talk to Jerry about tonight. Don't forget, spring is coming up, spring game. Pitt's it's middle of April. It'll be at Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium. I still call it Heinz Field too. It's just a matter of habit, I guess. And, it's going to be at 1:00 p.m. I believe it's in the middle of April. I can't make it to the spring game because I'll be out of town. And I'll be broadcasting live from Sugar Creek, Ohio that week as well. So anyway, Pitt football, they have a tough schedule this year. They're really going to have to do something. They have three gritty quarterbacks that are in camp this year. Paul starts out with Phil Jerkovich from Boston College. He transferred here to be with Frank Signetti, our offensive coordinator. I hope this year Frank Signetti calls some better plays. He really called some bad plays. Now, I don't know if it was him or if it was Keaton Slovis. I really can't say. But we have 3 gritty quarterbacks. We have that Valu kid who transferred from Penn State, and we have another kid named Darbaugh. Ty is his first name. He transferred from somewhere, and all 3 of them are gritty quarterbacks. So we're going to find out exactly what happens. I basically figure Pitt should be a better team this year, but it's hard to be a better team when you have a tough schedule. And Pitt really has a tough schedule this year. They lost some defensive people, Deslin Alexander, Kalijah Cansey. They've lost some defensive, Brandon Hill. So Pitt's really stuck in this kind of a quandary here as to what they have done. So, I mean, it's that kind of situation. So, but anyway, we'll get back to that as soon as Jerry gets here, if not. But I do want to talk about the girls basketball team for Pitt. They just fired Lance White, and I'm very, very happy about the fact that they hired fired Lance White. Yeah, it is. 5 years. 5 years he's been the coach of the women's basketball team for Pitt. Now, let me ask you this question. What's the problem with Pitt's women's basketball team? How come they can't win? The last time they really were prominent, Agnes Baronato was the coach. And then on top of that, they hired Susie McConnell-Cero, who everyone thought was going to take them to a national championship. She was good at Duquesne. She was reasonably decent in the WNBA, and she coached in the Olympics. I don't understand what happened with that. Is it the atmosphere of the campus? Is it just bad recruiting? This Lance White was supposed to be this genius recruiter who worked as an assistant for the Florida State men's basketball team. So when Heather hired him, he has a guru at recruiting. But then all of a sudden he has 5 bad years with Pitt. Now this year, Pitt's girls team did improve. They won 6 more games, I think. Then they won last year. But they bowed out in the tournament. They're terrible. They stink. And I just don't understand what is the problem here with Pitt's women's basketball team. They haven't been prominent since Agnes Baronato. And you know how far back that is. Okay? I feel bad for Pitt and I feel bad for all the alum and everyone that deals with the Panther basketball team and everything else. All right, next, let's talk about the Penguins a little bit here as we attempt to still try to get Jerry DePaula up here. I don't know what's going on, if it's on my end or his end. I've sent him the email 4 times, and I don't know what's going on. I guess, again, technical issues have happened everywhere. Pens are 32-25-8. They're 5th place in the Metropolitan Division, and they're possibly in the second wild card. They lost tonight. They were losing 3-0 to Columbus last I checked. And, so the Blue Jackets are in town Thursday. They play the Islanders, who they never can beat. Okay, very rare at PPG Paints Arena. New defenseman Dimitri Kolot made his debut tonight, and the return of Nick Bonino. Everybody's jumping up and down. All right, let's cheer for Nick Bonino. You know what I mean? He's back in town. He can help. He can help the Penguins. Let's cheer it on. Yes, indeed. Let's cheer it on. Let's get it going here, because I got to tell you, Nick Bonino is going to be the end of all end for the Penguins. All right, so that's where I see this. Forward, Mikko Granlund is the new guy in town. Ron Hextall, I think, made some trades to save his job. He knew he had to make a couple trades, and now it's 4-4. Pens tied. Thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate it. Wow, Pens came back on the Blue Jackets here. That's great. Well, the Pens are a comeback team. They seem to come back all the time and win when they need to. But you know what? Sometimes that runs out, and I've seen this in the NFL, where we have teams like the Steelers who have won by a point or 2 points in the playoffs go into their next game and get blown out. The Pens are in that kind of situation right now. They're on their way to possibly being in the playoffs and in a one and done again. Everybody's predicting the one and done. I don't know what's going to happen, because we when you get into the playoffs, everybody, is a whole new game. It's a whole brand new season. It's like a restart of the season. It doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. When you get to the playoffs, that is where it counts. And the Pens need to understand this, and they need to realize that they have all the great talent in the world. And they have one of the best head coaches in the NHL. At least he used to be. I'm calling him Mediocre Mike now because I think that he is mediocre. And I heard him and Ron Hextall were arguing and fighting over a situation for a trade for a player that Sullivan wanted, but Hextall didn't want to trade for him. So I don't know what's, as far as I'm concerned, I think Hextall has to go even after these trades. So we're going to see what the Fenway group does. We're going to find out. I predicted Hextall and Brian Burke are both out of here at the end of the season. That's my prediction. They're going to clean house eventually here. I think Mike Sullivan's gone. I think Hextall may be gone. They may give Mike Sullivan one more season because I know they put everybody on probation this year. Let's see what they do. Let's see what Mike Sullivan does. But I'm not sold on Ron Hextall as our GM. Okay. And I know a lot of people were sitting there thinking, well, Jim Rutherford, he'd make a trade right away or he'd shuffle guys around. If you blew your nose wrong, like I mentioned before, Ron Hextall, is not like that. He's one of them kind of guys. He sits back, he waits, he makes a move when he needs to, and he tinkers things. Okay. He made a mistake. He's trying to fix the mistakes he made, and he's not able to do it because he doesn't have the salary cap room. That's number one. And number two, he had to trade draft picks again. All right. The Penguins do not have a good farm system right now. They haven't been able to get good quality draft picks because they have to keep getting rid of them to make trades for rental players. I don't see some of these guys being there. Nick Bonino might stay, but this Miguel Grunlund, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with him? Okay. And also this defenseman, Dmitry Kulak. Physical defensemen are not good in Mike Sullivan's play. He doesn't like them. But I do because I think they need to be there as enforcers to defend our players, Crosby and Malkin. All right. And, if Letang stays healthy and Jeff Carter can get moving, and, we have some guys who are stiffs, on the Penguins right now that just aren't doing anything. And they need to start doing stuff or else they're not going to make it in the playoffs again. All right. So, yeah, you're right, Paul. Paul comments about the goalies. Our goalies are terrible. I think we need to go out and probably replace both of them. And if Jari thinks he's going to get the big contract, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Penguins need to go out. They need to cut some dead wood out, get rid of some guys that are bums, restructure some contracts, and get two goalies in here. Get a good starter and a decent backup. Casey D. Smith, I'm not sold on him. He stinks. I wasn't sold on him when they signed him again. I thought they could have went out and got a few other guys, but it's better than the bums they had, a couple bums they had last year. All right, the Pirates, they beat Toronto today, and they lost to the Yankees 9-2. Spring training baseball, left-hander Jalen Garcia has been pulled from the World Baseball Classic because he has a left arm tightness. So that's a little concern. Pitching staff, the new pitch count the robots. What do you think of this, folks? Tell me this. What do you think of these robots and this 15-second pitch thing? If a pitcher takes too long past this 15 seconds, because baseball, Rob Manfredi or the Manfred or whatever his name is, the so-called baseball commissioner who can't find his way out of a paper bag, in any way, shape, or form. Okay, for Major League Baseball, he decides to have robots. They're going to experiment with that as umpires. Can you imagine going up to a robot and trying to argue a call? You are out of the game. That pitch, that was a strike. Yeah, that was a strike. Ball one. Take me out to the ball game. Can you just imagine going to a game and hearing those robots? What happens if they short circuit? What happens there, Manfredi? What happens there? Okay. Did you take a look at that during the spring training? Huh? Did you take a look at that? What happens if these robots malfunction? Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to know, okay? It's a joke. That's all I know. All right, today the Pirates made some more cuts. They cut Henry Davis. Henry Davis is #1 draft pick. You would think at least, for some strange reason, every time the Pirates draft these #1 draft picks, it takes them 6 years to get up here. And then when they do get up here, they stink. I just don't get it. But, we're supposed to have we're number 6 in the league in a minor league farm system. So we'll see where Davis goes here, but he's a little slow right now. Matt Gorski and Lolo Sanchez have also been sent to the minors as well. Another strong start for Mitch Keller. I really don't care. Mitch Keller's a bum. I'm not sold on Mitch Keller. J.D. Brubaker had a good start yesterday, but see, there's a difference between Mitch Keller and J.D. Brubaker. J.D. Brubaker had a bad year last year because the offense let him down. The defense let him down. Errors, mistakes, all kinds of goofy stuff when he was pitching. Okay? Mitch Keller, he just can't pitch at all. He stinks. He's terrible. I don't like him. I wish the Pirates would ditch him, but they're so desperate for pitching, they keep him on the rotation. But he had a strong start today, his second spring trading start. Some more cuts today. Liover Rodrigo, also, he was rated the number 7th best prospect in Major League Baseball. He was sent to the minors. Right-hander Kyle Nicholas, right-hander Jarrett Jones, infielder Malcolm Nunez, all sent to the minor league system. Pirates, are going to continue on with spring training and so on and so forth as we go anyway. All right, small prediction here so far of a starting lineup that I had put together here. I think catcher's going to be Austin Hedges. They brought him in. He's a good defensive catcher, works well with pitchers. Also, first baseman, I think the starter's going to be Ji-Man Choi, but I know they're going to platoon with Carlos Santana. And the Black Magic Woman. Oh my. Anyway, third base, Key Brian Hayes, of course. Shortstop, Ornell Cruz, of course. Second base is still up in the air. Brian Reynolds in left. I think Andrew McCutcheon in right. They still have to look for a center fielder. Jack Sawinski could be that guy. We'll see what happens. Carlos Santana at DH. That's where I think they're going to go with that for the Pirates so far this year. All right, next, we're going to talk about some other sports here locally, and then we're going to go into our national other sports in the AFC North. I forgot to mention earlier because I had some technical issues with Jerry DePaola, and I also had some other issues with Avi Greenwald as well. So between trying to fix them in the middle of the show, there's some things that we can go over, and we will before we go off the air. Duquesne men's basketball, their final record, or their overall record's 10-8. They're 20-11 overall. The record in the conference is 10-8. Saturday they lost to Fordham 87-60. How do you lose by 27 points? Duquesne has done well this year, but they've laid too many eggs as far as games they probably should have won. They lost, and you can't do that. Pitt's men's team did that too. All right, I don't know what it is with these Pittsburgh college basketball teams. But anyway, Wednesday, they start the A-10 tournament. Wednesday, opponent to be determined. All right. Next, Robert Morris men's basketball. Horizon League. The Horizon League tournament is over. Guess who the winner is? You're not going to believe in a million years. Youngstown State. And you know what? I drove around last week. My wife and I decided we're going to look around this town here, see what's kicking. We went through downtown and went by the university. I tell you what, the university doesn't look bad. It's they got a field, they're in the basketball facility, and they got a nice Barnes and Noble, and it's a nice little campus area. But Youngstown State University won the Horizon League men's basketball tournament. So congratulations to them, even though I'm not really a fan of Youngstown State, but they won the Horizon League tournament, and they'll probably make it to the NCAA tournament for winning that tournament. So you get to go to a higher tournament when you win your conference tournament. That's usually how it works. Robert Morris finished conference 10-10. They were 500 in the conference. That's better than they did in the last couple of years. Andy Toole's trying to get this team back up and moving. They were 16 and 17 overall this year. That is an improvement. Last year, I think their grand total, I think they won one conference game in about 4 or 5 games the whole year. So that's an improvement. That's a big improvement. So I think, Andy Toole, he's been there a long time. He knows what to do. I think Robert Morris pretty much dropped the ball on this. They joined this Horizon League. They thought that perhaps, and I'm not saying if this is the truth. I'm working on getting somebody from Robert Morris to come on here to talk about the football and the basketball program, but I have yet to find anybody to come on to do it. Some of the invites that I sent out, nobody got back to me. So anyway, but Robert Morris, on the other hand, Andy Toole's been around a long time. And, so I think Andy Toole is going to bring this Robert Morris team back, but I think Robert Morris thought this was going to be an easier conference, an easier thing for them. They dominated the Northeast Conference for many years, and here we are. They stink. Okay. And I think the transfer portal has killed them, but I think it resurrected them, just like Duquesne, just like Pitt. Okay. This transfer portal on both basketball and football, we all know where that is. Okay. So Riverhounds preseason game last Saturday, they tied 0-0 with Louisville City. I feel bad for the Riverhounds. They have trouble beating Louisville. I don't know what it is. It's a curse or something. They just can't seem to beat them. Their first regular season game is coming up March 11th. They play Birmingham at home, 7:30. Good luck for the Riverhounds of USL this year. Pittsburgh Passion women's football team. Their season opener is against DC Divas on April 22nd. Those of you who have tickets, you might want, you know what? I think everybody should go out and get tickets this year, even though you've never seen a game, in honor of Franco Harris. He was part owner of the Pittsburgh Passion. Franco was a great man. We all know about Franco Harris and what he did for Pittsburgh, the Steelers, and the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, so the Passion women's football team, those of you who don't know, they play at West Allegheny High School out there in Imperial. All right, now let's get back to some stuff I wanted to talk about, and I got sidetracked with a couple technical issues. Let's look at the AFC North. The Browns today signed defensive tackle Ben Still and cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. All right, now the Ravens, they placed a non-exclusive franchise tag, as we spoke with Avi earlier, on Lamar Jackson, and named Denard Wilson new defensive backs coach. So that's the AFC North at this time. All right, next, let's get into the NFL news, and then we'll wrap it up here on Sports Corner. Sorry, we had some technical issues getting Jerry on. I don't know what happened. I sent him an invite several times. Technical issues, I guess. I'm live here in Youngstown, Ohio. Those of you who joined in late, I had to come down here last week because my nephew was involved in a car crash. He is in stable condition right now at a Youngstown hospital here. That's why I'm here in Youngstown, Ohio, broadcasting live. I canceled all of my RW Media shows last week. Tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30, Talking Wrestling. I'll be here. Smokin Jim still in the hospital. I'll be here by myself tomorrow. Talking Wrestling. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Raw, SmackDown, the Bloodline, what's going on in AEW. I'll go over the Revolution pay-per-view. What do you hear? What happened there? Oh, my gosh. It'll surprise you, because there was some stuff I didn't think was going to happen, but it did. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. NWN Impact, I have some news as well, and our top 10s, and where are they now. So all that tomorrow night, Talking Wrestling with me, Ralph Williams tomorrow. Smokin Jim will not be available once again. Please pray for him. He's in the hospital with an undiagnosed illness or an unspecified. He hasn't specified what the illness is, but I do know he's in the hospital, and he's been in there since Friday. So please pray for him that he gets well and can be back here with me on Sports Corner and Wrestle Talk and all the shows we do together. All right, NFL, Green Bay Packers did not have their staff this year at the Combine. I guess Green Bay must think that, they know what they're talking about. They don't need to send their staff to the Combine. I think that's a crazy situation. I I would send my staff there. I don't know why they wouldn't, but that's beside the point. Derek Carr signs a 4-year contract with the Saints. Former Las Vegas Raiders quarterback. Didn't get along with Josh McDaniel, but I call him McDomo because he's a dummy. And, he's a horrible head coach once again. He's not going to do anything in Los Angeles. The Las Vegas Raiders. He's not going to do real well there anyway. He's going to flop. And he'll be back as an offensive coordinator, probably with New England again or something. Who knows? All right. Anyway, several mock drafts are out there. All the NFL Network people have their mock drafts. I gave you earlier some prediction or some players that I think the Steelers should look at in the first and second round. I'll give you my further as we go along. And don't forget, next month, the Tuesday before the draft, we have a big draft spectacular here on Sports Corner. I have a big guest lineup. So wait do you see what that's going to happen. Keep informed on my social media pages because I'll be telling you exactly more details on what's going on with that. Aaron Rodgers has been granted permission to speak to the Jets. That's been talked about for a while now. Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. He's not happy in Green Bay, I guess. And, you got Jordan Love there. It's time to give him an opportunity to do something. So we'll see. Matt LaFleur, I don't know what I'm hearing stories that he's kind of a jerk as a coach and that kind of thing. Green Bay kind of flopped this year. So we'll see what happens in Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers if he goes to the Jets. And Avi and I talked about, Avi Greenwald and I, my guest earlier, talked about the Jets could do well if Rodgers goes there. They need to get a really good quarterback. Zach Wilson has dropped the ball there. He's not doing well as a quarterback. And, sometimes these teams, everybody, you got to understand, they draft these quarterbacks in the first round and they flop or they're bums or whatever. They just don't make it. I wouldn't waste a first-round pick on a quarterback. And, of course, this mediocre Mike and the Steelers have wasted a lot of draft picks this year on some, really big-time bums. Jarvis, too slow Jones, Smokin Jim would call him. Artie Burns, Devin Bush. I can name a few, more than a few, okay, of some guys. Lima Swede. Yeah. So you see what I mean? Steelers, they're no angels either, and so drafting is like a crap game. You throw the dice and you see what you have. Some talent's good, others is bad. Some talents are bad that you think are bad, they end up being good. It all depends on what's going on. Colts retain Gus Bradley as defensive coordinator. Gus is a very good defensive coordinator, horrible head coach in Jacksonville. We're going to find out what Shane Steichen does here in Indianapolis. I think he's going to fail. He was a coordinator with Philly, all right, under Nick Sirianni. Okay, he went to the Super Bowl. He's supposed to be a great coordinator. That ain't the case. I had Sal Tagliabue on here 2 weeks ago. And he said that's not the case with him and with Gannon. Both of them are not that experienced as a coordinator. They had one good year, in a Super Bowl. But Indianapolis thinks that they're the best thing since sliced bread. So let them hire him, and we'll see what goes on. Lorenzo Carter returning to the Falcons with a 2-year deal. He was cut by the Buccaneers. And, oh, by the way, why did Bruce Arians leave Tampa? You know why? Because Corn was a Buccaneer. Oh, my. All right. Lance Zierlein has said that Lamar Jackson, this is his prediction now. Lance Zierlein is a analyst and also son of former Steeler coach Larry Zierlein. He has said that the Lamar Jackson will be traded to the Falcons, and the Ravens will draft Will Levis. We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Ravens are going to hold on to Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson is smart, he'll try to stay with the Ravens. But if they trade him, Falcons need a quarterback. They have Desmond Ridder down there from Cincinnati. They drafted in the late rounds in the draft, the same draft with Kenny Pickett last year. Okay. They cut Marcus Mariota. He had a career season last year. He did pretty decent. Folded towards the end, like the gambler. You got to know when to hold and know when to fold. He had some injuries, and Desmond Ridder was put in, and he kind of stunk up the joint a little bit at the end of the year. But he's a good, serviceable backup. I think he'll find a job somewhere, Marcus Mariota. He's Claudio Rosano's favorite backup, which is fine. The Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith signed a 3-year, $105 million deal. And Daniel Jones from the Giants signed. We talked about that earlier with Avi Greenwald. This is something else, how we're signing quarterbacks at big-time money that really haven't done anything. What has Daniel Jones done until Brian DeBoe got to the Giants? Well, as soon as he shows up, Daniel Jones all of a sudden is a big Super Bowl quarterback, but that's only been one season. He has not done well at all. And Geno Smith, he had his career year with the Seahawks this year because Russell Wilson wasn't here. What did he do? He was horrible as a backup quarterback all across the board. He had his best season this year with the Seahawks. And they give him all this money. So you know what? Now there's a ripple effect now. All the guys, let's say Kenny Pickett stinks after his rookie contract is over. Let's say Kenny Pickett stinks. Do we sign Kenny Pickett to a $100 million contract? Do you understand what I'm saying, everybody? Because this is not acceptable to me or anyone else that's an NFL fan. But it's all about money in the NFL, okay? But we're going to give bums, we're going to give guys who only had 1 year of decency a $105 million contract. You don't need a quarterback like that. I'd take my money and sign 5-10 players, okay? But, that's the way the NFL is. All right, that's the way I see it. All right, next. The NFL grants applying non-exclusive franchise tag. The Giants, to Saquon Barkley. So they give him the franchise tag and sign Daniel Jones to this big contract. Giants ran the football real good this year. It wasn't for Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones wouldn't look good. If you have a good running game, all you need is a manageable quarterback that can manage the game for you. There you go. Dolphins released quarterback Byron Jones after 3 seasons. Avi Greenwald said that the Dolphins are going to have to go out and get a corner, which I agree with him on that, after Byron Jones has been cut. All right, I'm Ralph Williams. It's been a pleasure being here tonight. Just some announcements tomorrow night right here on our 4 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. We have Talking Wrestling. I'll be here by myself talking. And Smokin Jim is ill and in the hospital right now. Please say some prayers for him. Thursday night, 7:30, myself, Mark Mancini, and if Smokin Jim's back, he'll be on, but it'll be me, Mark, and myself for a Wrestle Talk on Blog Talk Radio. 347-205-9631 is the number to call. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody. Get them watching these shows. Get them subscribing to my YouTube channel. Watch all my archive shows. And if you're new to my broadcast, I thank you for being here. And I also thank you for watching and commenting as well. Friday, the External Bum podcast on Blog Talk Radio may not happen. The guy that I do it with, Bruce Kessinger, he and I do that show called The External Bum every Friday at 5 p.m. We talk about bums in sports, and we also take your comments about bums in sports. You can email me at ralphwilliams737@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to take your request of who you think is a bum in sports, and any sport. I don't care if it's tennis, golf. I don't care if it's what. Somebody who you think is a bum. Most of the bums are in the NFL. Baseball, there's a few. Some guys that were overpaid pitchers, things like that. We do the External Bum podcast every Friday at 5 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. And don't forget Saturday, 5 p.m., PCTV, the TV version of Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier. It's on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon. If you live in Allegheny County, outside Allegheny County, you can watch our TV version on PCTV's Facebook page as well. All right, I'm Ralph Williams. Until next Tuesday, and Smokin Jim should be back by then. And we're going to have Sports Corner. I'm going to work on getting Jerry on next Tuesday because apparently he or I or somebody had some technical issues here today. So sorry about that. I apologize for that. And Jerry DePaola, I'm going to try to get him back on next week. All right. And for Smokin Jim Frazier, my friend, my buddy, I hope you feeling better. We're praying for you out here. And I hope you're feeling better and come back next week. Until next Tuesday, I'm Ralph Williams. It's been a pleasure being here. Have yourself a great night. Thank you.